Hello, dear friends. Welcome to another Sunday check-in session, a half hour of Dharma, reflection, and community connections. My name is Liam, and I'm based in the Blue Mountains. If you're a new member of our community, please accept our wholehearted welcome and know that if you're unsure or if you have any questions about our practices and topics today, we're all here to help. And if you are regular, well, welcome back. So it's customary in Australia to begin any meeting by acknowledging the traditional owners of our land. So in the spirit of reconciliation, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we walk, study, and reside, the Wadi people of the Dharawal Nation, and pay my respects to the elders past, present, and emerging. I also pay my respects to the traditional custodians of the various lands on which you all are. The Sunday check-in sessions have been developed by our Communities of Practice team and the entire community. These sessions aim to develop a reflective practice in response to changes, and guided by humanistic Buddhism, we would like to cultivate our practices and build memorable friendships. Last week, our good friend Jonathan, we began our journey into compassion with a guided meditation and contemplation on what it might mean for us to truly open up to true care. This week, Jonathan is back to guide us as we immerse ourselves into compassion. So please welcome Jonathan.
Good, thank you, Liam, and welcome everybody. Auspicious greetings from the 10 directions. So today we'll follow the pathway of compassion to deeper levels and become totally immersed in this divine quality. So the next slide. So true compassion is the mature capacity to be deeply attentive to the suffering of others and to readily suffer with them and to understand the importance of this intimate connection. Now, although the phrase compassion fatigue is used quite a bit, in fact, compassion as we define it in this way does not lead to fatigue. In fact, it can actually become a wellspring of resilience and a source of nourishment rather than depletion. The next slide. So this slide again depicts the 5 aspects of compassion called grace and presented by Roshi Joan Halifax. Last week we were talking about gathering of the essential qualities for compassion. Today we move on to the second and third qualities, recalling one's intention to be of service and attuning ourselves to the emotional qualities of both ourself and the other. So the next slide. So immersion and compassion. So we'll focus today on identifying our deep, courageous and focused intention to be of service to a particular person in need and to feel the warmth and expansive nature of our quivering heart. As we mindfully attune to the other, we sense our mind clearing of unwanted thoughts and our sense of our small self fades away. We're thus prepared to devote our spacious heart-mind to the needs of the other, whilst also aware of our own responsive emotions. The blending of the two, the emotional world of the other and ourselves, and the wonder of this moment. The next slide. This is Frank Ostaseski, and this image of him depicts true compassion. This is the face you would like above your bed as you awoke from a coma, perhaps. Or if you were feeling distressed, you would like this image to arrive because you get the full force of compassion. So let's meditate together. Settle in a comfortable spot, your normal meditation posture, and begin by taking 3 mindful deep breaths. So just like last week, imagine that you are sitting quietly at home, having just received the news of someone known to you that has just received a serious diagnosis. They live alone. And with this knowledge, you no longer feel comfortable. You have now gathered your focused attention, a sense of presence, the don't know mind, and your desire to truly care. And you feel your motivation rising. You cross your threshold, the point where compassionate action actually arises. and you rise from your seated position and leave your home. You arrive at the door of the home of the suffering one, the house of becoming, and you enter. You enter a liminal space of transition, a mysterious, unfamiliar zone, knowing that your world will change irrevocably. Once inside this house, you climb the staircase to the bedroom. On each stair, you pause and reflect on the gravity of your purpose, allowing errant thoughts to float away, abandoning the possibility of any other activity in this moment, becoming more resolute, with a quiet, open mind, but noticing some trembling, some quivering of your heart. You are propelled by the importance of your mission, both for yourself and for the suffering one. You feel both fear and the arousal of wonder, that richness of being truly alive. You pause at the top of the stairs and recall the words of Nyanaponika Thera from the Anguttara Nikaya. And this is really deep. The world suffers, but most men and women have their eyes and ears closed. They do not see the unbroken stream of tears flowing through life. They do not hear the cry of distress continually pervading the world. Their own little grief or joy bars their sight, deafens their ears. Bound by selfishness, their hearts turn stiff and narrow. Being stiff and narrow, how should they be able to strive for any higher goal? To realize that only release from selfish craving will affect their own freedom from suffering. It is compassion that removes the heavy bar, opens the door to freedom, makes the heart narrow, makes the narrow heart as wide as the world. Compassion takes away from the heart the inert weight, the paralyzing heaviness, and gives wings to those who cling to the lowlands of self. Through compassion, the fact of suffering remains vividly present to our mind, even at times when we personally are free from it. It gives us the rich experience of suffering, thus strengthening us to meet it prepared when it does befall us. The compassion of the wise woman does not render her a victim of suffering. Her thoughts, words, and deeds are full of a desire to help, but her heart does not waver. Unchanged it remains, serene and calm. How else should she be able to help? Compassion that is strength and gives strength. This is the highest compassion. So, having reflected thus, you now reach the bedroom door. The community nurse beckons you in, and then she leaves. You behold your companion. She is pale and weeping. As you approach, her gaze strikes your face, and her weeping becomes loud wailing. You hold her gaze, expressing your deep love and compassion. You walk steadily to the bedside chair. You sit and gently hold her forearm, looking softly into her face, feeling sadness, but also your strengthening desire to truly help. You feel a sense of great purpose. You are where you must be. You feel a powerful presence, a oneness with your companion. She settles and falls asleep. You sit in silence, feeling the living warmth of her forearm. Time slows. You feel a quiver in your heart. What next? The don't know mind asks. So let us remain in silent meditation for a further minute. All right, you can take one further mindful breath and then open your eyes. And I think back to you, Liam. You may wish to go over the questions that we're going to ponder in the breakout rooms.
Sure. Thank you for sharing your thoughts on compassion and that guided meditation. So I'll just go over to the questions for our breakout groups. Have you yourself or a close friend experienced emotional distress even when you were very young? Did you or your friend receive true compassionate care as a mother comforting her only child? What was the experience of compassion like for you or your friend? Did compassion fully address your distress? And how long did the benefits last? Did your life change? And what do you think distinguishes compassion from other types of care? So now we will be placed in groups of 3 to 4 to discuss our answers to these questions. In the discussion, we recommend you spend some time getting to know each other and discussing the questions. And there will be some Zoom notifications to guide you. So don't worry about remembering it all. We'll be here to help. Our sessions are guided by metta, which is unconditional love and kindness for all sentient beings. So let's use these breakout sessions to express and receive loving kindness to one another and take time to pause, share, and listen. We'll also ask you to share some of your findings with the larger group at the end of the discussion. But for now, let's go to our breakout rooms for rich and nourishing discussions, and we'll see you all back in 15 minutes. Okay, welcome back, everyone. We had some deeply compassionate, caring, and nourishing discussions. I'm sure we did, as we always do. Now I'll invite you to type your thoughts into the chat box, and then we'll get Jonathan to read them out. And then eventually we'll put them into a poster to share them with you midweek. So for now, just get typing. Jonathan, would you like to read anything?
Oh, yes. Yes, from Kanya. Simple gestures, so-called simple, like, hi, how are you feeling? When you mean it, yes, often stimulates a great opportunity for further depth. And Liam, you say that compassion is relief. And let's see, Priscilla, true compassion doesn't feel like pity, it gives strength. Yes, there's a certain strength about this, which I did describe. And taking care of ourselves is important. It's vitally important to take care of ourselves before the compassionate experience and then during, so that we're looking after ourselves at the same time that we're caring for someone else. And it's not that difficult. And in fact, we soon realize that we're gaining a great deal from our own giving of compassion.
All right, thanks, Jonathan. I might just tap it there because we're at 11:30. Keep typing, everyone, and we can keep discussing in the plenary discussion after we finish. But for now, we'll just close the session. Okay, thank you, everyone, for coming to our session. And again, thank you, Jonathan, for your wonderful insight on compassion. We really hope that the check-in session was helpful to everyone and that you experienced the unconditional love and compassion of this community. But for anyone who might be experiencing a greater need than what we could meet today, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us via email. And you can also reach out to the professional organizations on the screen. Next Sunday, we'll welcome back Jonathan to continue on our journey into compassion. So be sure to join us. I think we're making great strides. But for now, as we check out today, let's recite the dedication of merits together to send love and compassion to whoever is in need.
Let us now dedicate the goodness of what you have done to all living beings. May kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity pervade all worlds. May we cherish and build affinities to benefit all beings. May Chan, Pure Land, and precepts inspire equality and patience. May our gratitude and humility give rise to great vows.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jonathan, for your generous sharing. And thank you, Joe, for being our IT master behind the scenes today. And thank you, everyone, for joining us, as always. Now we'll start our usual plenary session. So please stay around if you have time. Otherwise, we'll see you all again next Sunday at 11 a.m.